Good people? It's your boy Uncle Fred, and we going to Uncle Fred been on hiatus. Had some personal saddening things that happened to me this week, and so we kind of hadn't been able to come on. But we back, and I'm gonna talk about that. And but there's a couple of things on cowboy worthy things. Gonna talk about the OBJ thing on the airplane last Sunday. LeBron versus Jerry Jones. There's a picture from 57 surfaced, and there's comments on that. Talk about some roster things, roster moves, and the jockeying for position. And as this thing moves towards the end, the close of the season, and we're going to talk about the upcoming game against the Colts. And so we're going to talk about that and give you a prediction for that game. So y'all sit back and buckle your seatbelts. We're fixing to ride. Let's go. What's good, people? It's your boy, Uncle Fred, back in the house, back in the saddle, one more again with more content. A little late in the week. Usually I try to come Tuesday or Wednesday, but we'll get to why in just a minute. Please hit that like, comment, and subscribe. And become a part of the Uncle Fred Sports Experience. I guarantee you will not be disappointed. So first of all, I want to say right off the top, your Uncle Fred had a little bit of bad news this week. I lost one of my dear friends this week on Monday. One of my ace boon coons. We used to roll tight from like the early '90s, man. Been friends for like 30 some odd years, and lost him on Monday. And it's been a tough week for Uncle Fred. Been a real tough week, and so I wasn't able to come on Monday or Tuesday. I just didn't have this. I wasn't just my head wasn't right for that. And so I started to get my material together. So we're gonna try to do a combined video for the pregame prediction and the midweek. But anyway, yeah, I had that happen on Monday, and I spoke to him less than an hour before he collapsed and passed on me. And it's just been tough, man. But I'm gonna tell you this: you live long enough, man, you're gonna lose folks along the way that you love and you care about. That's just something I've learned in my few years of being around, man. It's just tough, and when it does, it's always a tough thing to deal with. So your Uncle Fred kind of going through it right now, but got to push through it, man. But KG, man, rest easy, man, and I'll see you on the other side, my man. That was my guy, man. Watch my videos too. He watched my video. Wasn't a Cowboy fan, but he watched my videos, man, and that's a tough one, man. That's a tough one. Just a couple things we're gonna talk. We ain't gonna be with you long, but the OBJ thing happened Sunday, and like I said, I would have talked about that Monday, but he had a bender in Florida, was gonna fly back Sunday back to LA, and I guess he's kind of out of it, laying sleep on the plane. It was reported he had some sort of liquid that looked like a 5-hour energy that was poured into his drink, and he was drinking before he passed out and pulled a blanket over him, but he didn't put his seatbelt on. And your Uncle Fred done flew probably 7 or 8 times in my career. In my life, career, I don't play in my life, and that's a non-starter right there. You got to buckle that seatbelt on. They're not taking off. You got to take it off, but once they get airborne and get to a certain level, you take it off, and then when you get ready to land, you got to put it on. So takeoffs and landing, that's a non-qualifier. You got to do that. So apparently they couldn't get him weight or whatever, roused or whatever the case was, and he wouldn't put his seatbelt on, and they said he wouldn't, and then I think maybe the flight attendant got a little amorous or whatever. But here, man, I know a lot of people that maybe watch my videos are big OBJ fans. I'm kind of not, because I think he's more of an attention grabber than I would like. You know, I like people to just kind of get their thing done and go on about their business. I don't like a bunch of extra. I don't like extra. Um, but yeah, when that thing got to be, you know, the authorities and everything come because he was being, I guess they thought he was being unruly and whatever. They had to deplane the plane. So all them folks had to get off the plane, and it probably took them a couple hours to get back on the plane. So, you know, folks was flying back to Los Angeles after the Thanksgiving weekend, and they were not happy. And I know he said something on his Twitter like, man, this is comedy hour. This is too fun. Like, and them folks wasn't laughing. Some of them passengers was like, this isn't funny. I had stuff to do when I got home, and deadlines and stuff I was supposed to meet. And I'm sitting out here on the tarmac because you didn't want to buckle your seatbelt up. Kind of selfish, man. And you know, look, man, maybe the dude made too much out of it, but I'm a dude that feel like rules is rules. And I'm not going to give dudes side passes or whatever because, you know, oh, he ain't got to follow the rules. Like, no, man, if it's a rule, it's a rule. It's a rule for a reason. Okay. And he felt like he didn't want to, or he didn't have to. I'm OBJ. I don't have to do that. But I found out when he went to the Giants this week, he flew on a private plane. And I saw right here, I see right here that he, yeah, here we go, right here. Yeah, here he is right here on the plane, on the private plane with his seatbelt on. Yep. The luxury flight, it might be assigned a third time Pro Bowl's on his way to visit either the Dallas Cowboys afterwards. And so here he is right here. OBJ says the whole situation was all cap, means all bull crap. He said, but he's not taking any chances as he posted a video of himself on a private jet on Thursday, fully awake with his seatbelt on. Dude, you could have had your seatbelt on the last time, bro. You know, dude, I'm sorry, dude. I mean, look, OBJ is going to be a good product for the Cowboys. I think he's going to be a good, you know, but if he's coming to be a grandstander or going to come to the showstop or coming to, because, you know, many people think I'm hard on OBJ, but look, man, all I know is everywhere he goes, drama seems to follow him. Okay. Now, if you go 3 or 4 places and the same thing or something there nearabouts happens every place you go, then the problem ain't the places you go. The problem you do, you know, you know, acting the fool in New York, you know, talking disparagingly about Eli Manning, even though Eli Manning's a 2-time Super Bowl MVP, you know, not getting the ball and having a tantrum on the sideline, kicking net. Then the next week, because you got publicity, you want to propose to the kicking net, getting into that dust up with Josh Norman, then getting shipped off to New York, and then going on the trip to South Beach when you're going to play the Green Bay Packers, and then not playing and punching a hole in the thing in Lambeau Field because you didn't play well, dropped the touchdown pass, got shipped off to Cleveland, you know, talking about, you know, you and Baker, and then having your daddy sending the thing saying, you know, whatever. Dude, you're a grown man, you know. Going to LSU, when the LSU won it, this was just a couple of years ago, 2.5 years ago. This was January of 2020 when LSU won the championship over Clemson in the, I want to say it was the Orange Bowl, if I'm not mistaken. And so he on the sideline, you know, and that's fine, you there. And I'm thinking Jarvis Landry's there and all the other LSU alums, they there. But you throwing money around and all this kind of stuff. Got the players in trouble, got the university in trouble. They had to pay some fines for that and all that kind of stuff. I mean, why do you have to make it about you, man? And, you know, you didn't see nobody else throwing money. They was there to celebrate and all that stuff. And they wasn't throwing money around and whatnot. They just joined the festivities. But he had to make it about him. But I will admit, when he went to Los Angeles, he was on good behavior. He played well. They wouldn't have won that Super Bowl without him. So he was on good. So I'm thinking he he's on the upswing. It's because you don't like to hold people's back pass against them, but I don't know. This thing that happened on the play. I'm like, it ain't that big a deal, but it's kind of a big deal because it's like, why would you make that big a deal about putting your seat? Just wake up, click the thing on, go back and lay down. It's okay. You know, people don't want to be made to do what they're supposed to do, but that's what it is. But so the Cowboys did their due diligence, or so they say, and they did in like a day. And so you ain't made no investigation this thing in no day. What it is that you so thirsty for OBJ, and you shouldn't be. That it's like whatever he did, it's all right. We still want him, and I don't like that look because we the Cowboys. Okay, yeah, we the Cowboys. All right. You not know on the Thanksgiving Day game we played the Giants, drew 41.2 million viewers. I think that 41 or 42 million. I may have been 42 million. The most watched game in the regular season game in the history of the NFL. That's not regular season game. I think it's the most watched game since the Super Bowl. Okay, because we them boys. All right. So we don't need OBJ. OBJ needs us. We don't bend to you. You bend to us. Okay. Now you come. We want you to come head down, ready to work. We don't want no dust ups. Don't want no tantrums on the sideline. Don't want no having no heated discussions with Dak while you didn't get the ball on this particular play. Come in, put your head down, ready to work, and we're gonna be fine. We're gonna be fine. So we're gonna see what happens with that. All right. So the next thing is LeBron James chose to fire off against Jerry Jones. What, Tuesday night? I think Wednesday night. About the little photo that was shown that surfaced from the Washington Post about Jerry Jones and back in September 1957 at North Central Little Rock High School. Picture surfaced where they were trying to integrate the schools, and Jerry Jones was in the background where they was trying to keep the kids from getting into school, trying to keep them, and eventually kids got pushed down some stairs and pushed out. And Jerry was there. Now he's kind of in the background. If you look at him, you're like, yeah, that is kind of him. He got the little peanut head and whatnot. I've seen him in the background. Okay. Now, LeBron said something. When he came to the media after the game, I think they played Portland, I think, Monday or Tuesday. And he says, I want to know one thing from the media. Why ain't nobody asked me about the comment on the Jerry Jones photo? Why ain't nobody asked me about that? But y'all asked me about Kyrie all day long, but you ain't asked me nothing about Jerry. I don't know, LeBron. Maybe because Kyrie used to play with you. You won a championship with him. You've been in communication with him this year because y'all tried to get him on the Lakers this year. He plays the same sport that you do. I don't know. I don't know, LeBron. Maybe you should have asked them, gee, why didn't y'all ask me about the Avalanche winning the Stanley Cup back in June? Oh, because that ain't your sport either. Oh, okay, I got one. How come maybe they didn't ask you about the U.S. men's soccer teams and their chances to win the World Cup when they played in the Netherlands? It's later today now, and see in the second round. Oh, you ain't got no frame of reference on that? Okay, all right. How about this one? Why didn't you ask me about what I felt about Dusty Baker winning the World Series for the Houston Astros? Ain't your sport, but Dusty Baker becomes only the third black manager to win a World Series, joining Cito Gaston and Dave Roberts. Your boy know his sports now. Don't mess with me. I know sports. But that might be something of some historical significance. They didn't ask him, but they didn't know. But he didn't ask about that. He asked about Jerry. And don't get me wrong, it's a bad look because we don't know what's going on. Because those kids were there to kind of like be an opposition to them kids getting into school, going to school. First day of school, September 1957. That's a long time ago. That's 65 years ago, people. That was like 8, 9, 10 years before your Uncle Fred was born. That's a long time ago. Now, I was born in the 60s, and I saw some stuff. That was even before then, okay? The thing is, though, it's a bad look for Jerry because, it looks as though he might be with them people that's in opposition to that, but he could just be there because the people are there. Anytime there's a disturbance in the school, a fight or something, people gonna rubberneck and go right. They're gonna run to the thing, even though they should go the other way. But they want to see something, okay? Because that's what you do when you're 14 or when you're a teenager. That's what you do. So I don't know what he was now. He had, and what LeBron was trying to say is that, man, why Jerry ain't really answered for that, but he ain't nobody ain't said nothing about that. They've been quiet. No, actually, Jerry had a press conference with Calvin Watkins and Hill and Calvin Watkins and Hill, Cedric Hill. In the Dallas area newspapers and stuff. And so he didn't give no great answers. He basically said he was curious, which I'll buy. But, did he still harbor some of them feelings now? He didn't really ask. I don't know if they even asked him that. But that would be something I would ask, why were you there? Why, But having said that, and I know a lot of people want to, because we're in a cancel culture. We looking for things to cancel folks for. Anything you might have done, I don't care. Dude, that's 65 years ago. I don't think you understand what kind of world this was 65 years ago. Okay. We don't understand what it was like 20 years ago. How did y'all survive without cell phones? Well, we did. Wasn't no cell phones. In the 80s, when I started in college, really wasn't no computers. About the second year in college, they started having the little 5 1/4-inch floppies. And you put all through my high school, we didn't have no computers. The only computers there was the computers you took the standardized test and they sent them and the computer scored them. That was on the computers they were, How did y'all make it without computers? Yeah, we did. In the 90s, we didn't no internet. How did y'all survive without internet? It's a different world. Every era has something that was a part of that era. And so in the 50s, there was a lot of segregationist mentality or thought process. And a lot of people that sympathized with that, Maybe a lot of them didn't resort to violence, but they sympathized with them. They agreed with it. So, it's what it is, man. It's and to be perfectly honest, I hope I don't get in trouble for saying this, but whatever, I'm gonna say it. I would imagine in 57, 56, 57, 58, all the way through like the early 60s, in the South, I would guarantee you 75, 80% of Caucasian households had some sort of segregationist, sympathetic thought process where, it was part of their way of life. This was part of the way they lived. And it was just part of how things were. Not right. Definitely wasn't right. It was wrong as two shoes for the same foot. But that's part of life, part of the life that was in those times, right? And it may have been the kind of household that Jerry Jones might have grew up in, and you kind of get groomed by what you live in. You're 14. You ain't thinking for yourself. You thinking how your mom and daddy raised you. Now for me, I grew up, my mom and daddy raised me right. Daddy was a World War II vet, went to work every day after he got out the Army, worked every day. Mom worked some after I got old, and I was groomed by that. But at 14, you still do some things you have no business doing at 14. I know Chris Broussard from The Odd Couple was saying, well, still Jerry probably should have known right from wrong, what he was doing or where he was at was the wrong thing to do, and he should. I'm like, I get it, but let me give you an example. You all know what your boy Uncle Fred was doing at age 14? I'll tell you. Your boy, Uncle Fred, was walking home from school with a bunch of guys, and we thought it was a good idea as we walking along the street, this big 4-lane road we walking alongside of. We thought it was a good idea to take a piece of concrete. It was really a rock, but a big rock, and chunk it at the semi trucks when they pass us to see if we can make it go fuck when they hit, boom. Well, lo and behold, a black and white seen us and came and scooped us up, took us home to our parents. And that wasn't a very pleasant experience. Now, if somebody took a picture of me getting in the cop car at 14, that'd be something I wouldn't want to be like how nobody's seeing right now. And I knew better, but I was 14. Okay. I was 14. All right. And, I knew better, but I was around some boys that, you don't want to be the chump in the group. Yeah, they do. Yeah, I'm going to do it too. So even if Jerry's parents were like, man, you don't get involved in that, let them kids be and go about your business. When you get around these other adolescent boys and all that testosterone flowing, yeah, you're going to do something different. Because peer pressure is a mug. It really is. So all I'm saying is that he's 14. And 14-year-olds do what 14-year-olds do. They do things that probably aren't right to do. They know better than to do, but they do it. Like I chunked a rock at that semi, and I got picked up. And also, some in those times, I would go to a convenience store and take a little Debbie snack cake every now and then or whatever. But I knew that was wrong. I didn't need to take nothing. We weren't poor, but I did it. But I was 14. I knew better. And if my folks found out about it, I'd have got my butt beat. But I did it. But I was 14. All right. I knew better. When you're 14, sometimes you do stuff you ain't got no business doing. So I'm willing to give him the benefit of the doubt. I don't get Jerry benefit of the doubt on none. I hold Jerry's feet to the fire. All right. But yeah, that picture surfaced, and I like, dang, they had a picture of that. That's 65 years ago. They had a picture of that. And that's him, Peanut Head Jerry. You can see it. That's him. It shows him. It's him sitting back there with a funny look on his face. Okay. So, not a good look. But here's the thing I want to say, though. Now, LeBron James, and a lot of people might like LeBron James. I'm not really a fan of him either. He's all right. Great play. I love his play. He's a phenomenal player. He's getting ready to be the number one scorer in the NBA in a couple of months, probably. Just winning number 6 of the assists record tonight, passing Magic Johnson. Played 20 years to do it, though, but don't let that mess you up. But a lot of times when he speaks on things, a lot of times he don't seem to know about or don't know all the stuff that he seemed to think that Jerry didn't make no thing, but he did. They just didn't tell him about it. Okay. And you see, sometimes LeBron want to be on the front of things, and sometimes things happen and he'll go out and tweet on it and have to come back and delete it because he didn't spoke, before, he done measured once and tried to cut 10 times, if you know what I'm saying. All right. You're supposed to measure 10 times, cut once. Get all the facts before you speak. And see, once upon a time, that's what LeBron James did. Now he'll speak. But once upon a time when he was in Cleveland, and a young boy named Tamir Rice got shot, police just pulled up on him, thought his little toy gun, pellet gun, was a real gun, and shot him, 12-year-old, dead. And the people wanted him to protest, wanted LeBron to boycott games. I'll tell you what LeBron said. This is what LeBron said. For me, I've always been a guy that took pride in the knowledge of every situation I've ever spoke on. And to be honest, I haven't been really on top of this issue. So it's hard for me to comment. I understand that any lives that are lost, and we want more than anything, is prayer for the family and what's best for the family and for anyone. But for me to comment on the situation, and I don't have enough knowledge about it, he did not address whether he would participate in any type of protest or boycott games. Now, this happened in Cleveland, Ohio, when he was playing in Cleveland. And he chose not to say nothing about it. But now he's speaking on everything, said lanes he ain't supposed to be, and he all swerving all into all other stuff and everything. So, don't get me wrong, there's some things need to be talked about, So, like he was all, he's not a Cowboy fan no more because Jerry didn't, did what he did with the Kaepernick thing or whatever. That's fine because, that's, Jerry did what he did, but understand this. And I know there's a lot of people that don't support the Cowboys, don't root for the Cowboys because of that. And I'm like, man, if that's what you want to do. But I've been with the Cowboys for 45 years, and it ain't going to be because Jerry did something stupid or whatever, and I'm going to stop liking the Cowboys. And my liking the Cowboys ain't got nothing to do with who owns it. Has to do with the players, the type of ball they play, and in the group of Cowboy fans. It's really about the fans and the group of fans that we are and the players. Before Jerry bought it, I didn't even know who owned the Cowboys. Okay, so it can't be about that. And what I come to understand is all the people, all the owners of the NFL pretty much think like Jerry do. They just didn't say it. So Jerry is like, I'm not gonna have y'all kneeling on the anthem, but I will compromise. I will come out in all 53. I will lock arms with y'all, and I will kneel down on the line with all my players. Didn't no other owner do that. Okay, he did do that. He said, "But I'm not gonna have," because he knew he was gonna get some backlash from the fans and whatnot. And it's what it is. I mean, I'm not saying that's a good thing or not. I'm just saying he did make a compromise. He did do something. Other owners didn't do that. They didn't come out with their players. So it is what it is. But and that's a good issue. And to be honest, all the owners was on Jerry's side on that issue until George Floyd died. Then some eyes got open. That's a real thing. Okay, that's a real thing. Okay, and it's a evil in society that's got to be dealt with. Now, it's not the only one, but those things was happening too many times, and we got to be able to trust our law enforcement officers. So that was a for real thing. Okay, now, but here's the other thing. Now, I wonder why LeBron James won't speak on other things. What do you mean, Uncle Fred? I'm about to get myself in trouble here, but that's fine. I don't care. Now, why LeBron James didn't speak on a certain A-list actress in Hollywood where he lives that adopted 2 African boys and put dresses on them and paraded them around as girls, a 4 and a 7-year-old. Put dresses on them, purses, put braids in their hair, and parade them around as girls. And ain't nobody said a daggum thing. And I know LeBron James know about it because he seemed to know about everything. Why ain't ask me about that? No, he ain't gonna say nothing about that. Okay. So A-list actress too. Been in a lot of movies, a lot of good movies too. She's a good actress too. But that's evil to me. Okay. So good. It's a good actress. And I'm not gonna tell you her name. I'm gonna let you Google actress that adopted boys and put dresses on them, and you'll find it. One thing I might say monster. I might say that. Leave that alone. I ain't gonna say no more about it. Or maybe why ain't nobody asking about his friend Dwayne Wade and what situation he's got with his ex-wife, and then with his son/daughter Zaya, whatever that situation is going on with that. Why ain't he spoke on that? I would have asked him about that because that's your friend too. But he ain't gonna speak on that. You know why? Because the people that are pushing that agenda, which those 2 things are part of, are people that put money in LeBron James's pocket. He ain't speaking on that. But he's gonna speak on that other stuff because those things don't hurt his bottom line. So, but to me, they're all evil. Because if you ask me, if my son, if he was around some people and they called him the N epithet, or they called him the B word and put a dress on him, which one was worse? I say they both equal to me. And if you call me the N word, you got to fight me. If you try to put a dress on me, you got to fight me. I'm fighting you on both of them. But it's what it is. I ain't gonna get all off on the civil rights and other issues and whatnot. I ain't gonna get off on that. But anyway, but it's a bad look for Jerry. But you know what, man, happened a long time ago. It's what it is. But I just expect Jerry to be Jerry. I expect Jerry to say silly things, do dumb stuff, and whatever. And he just do what he do. And, when Jerry don't own the team, I'll still be right here for the Cowboys. All right. So, moving on, roster stuff going on. We made some roster. We waived, released Terrell Basham, a pass rushing defensive end, drafted out of 2017 out of the University of Ohio, 6'4", 266 pounds, creating an empty roster spot. And people was wondering what they was doing with the extra roster spot. We found out, I think yesterday, that they put James Washington, yay, is on the 21-day practice schedule, which means they have up to 21 days to get him in, get him practice. And they have in them 21 days that can activate him for a game And if he don't get activated in those games, he have to go back to the practice squad. So he has up to 21 days. So he could play this week against the Colts. He could play next week against Houston or the week after against Jacksonville. But if he don't get it done in them 3 weeks, they have to probably redo another 21 days, or he'll have to go back to the practice squad. Right. But he's getting ramped up. He's in practice right now. So let's see if he get in a couple of plays on Sunday, man. I've been waiting on him and see what happens with him. So we got him. And so we're going to go, well, before I get to the game, Tyron Smith. I think next week they're going to open up a 21-day practice schedule for him, so he'll go for 3 weeks to see if he can. But they're looking forward to putting him in next week against the Houston Texans. So it's all coming together, folks. It's all coming together. Before I talk about the game, and I'm just going to give you a brief synopsis of the game because the video's far spent. We're 30 minutes, and I get to talking, boy, it'll be rolling. I want to give kudos to Mr. Rome of Cowboy Fan Talk. When the season started, and I know all us Cowboy, and I listen to all different Cowboy content creators and stuff and see what the theme of the day is, what they're thinking, what he's thinking, what Mike Fisher's thinking, what Mark Holmes is thinking, with David, is it Abernathy? What is his name? God, it's another one. It's 3 or 4 of them I listen to and whatnot. Then I go to the webs and go to the sites and stuff, different things. I read the articles and stuff like that so I can have something to go on or whatever, so I can kind of see. Now I put my spin on it, But he said something at the beginning of the season, and I was like, "Come on, Mr. Rome, I can't. I'm a Cowboy fan, big as everybody else, but I gotta call a spade, right?" He was trying to tell me that CeeDee Lamb the best receiver in the division. Couldn't see it. CeeDee Lamb ain't showed that to me yet. Okay, hadn't showed at the time. And I was like, man, he ain't better than A.J. Brown. He ain't even better than Scary Terry McLaurin. If you want to be truthful about it, he just got to stay healthy. I said, man, he got to scuffle to get better than Devontae Smith. Of course, that might have been my Alabama bias talking on that one, maybe. But as the season went on, he's made some bad plays, dropped some passes, ran some bad routes and stuff like that. But I looked at the stats the other day, and Mr. Rome talked about him. Mark Holmes is talking about it. I think even Mike Fisher was talking about it. And I was like, I have to look at us. Number 2 in the conference. CeeDee Lamb got 64 catches, 857 yards, and 5 touchdowns. He's on pace for like 95 catches, like 1,300 yards, and like 10 touchdowns, 9-10 touchdowns. That'll get you in the Pro Bowl right there, buddy. So I like to see guys persevere, don't get down on themselves when things don't go well. Congratulations, CD. You becoming the number 1 we thought you could be. And salute Cowboy Fan Talk, Mr. Rome. You was right on that. You saw it. I didn't see it, but I see it, so I'm calling it. Let's go, CeeDee Lamb. So then we got the Colts on Sunday night, 7:20, NBC. Colts 4-7-1, coming off of a 24-17 loss to the Steelers on Monday night. They're back-to-back primetime games for some reason, but it's against the Cowboys, so it's going to get some views. Something Dak said during this week, he cited this. He said, RESPECT, find out what it means to me. RESPECT, taking care of TCB. Oh, that's Aretha Franklin. That's for your time. You don't know nothing about that. But he's basically talking about respect. We're going to respect our opponent. See, they got ahead of themselves after they beat the Vikings on 2 weeks ago, and I thought they sleepwalked in the game against the Giants. All the penalties is being unfocused. Like, I don't got to play my best to beat this team. I can line up offside. I can jump offside. I can hold. I can false start. I can, all this stuff. I can illegal motion. I can illegal formation. I can do all that stuff. It don't matter. I'm just playing the Giants. At some point, that's going to bite you in the backside. All right. So something Dak was saying, we got to respect our opponents. It don't matter who we play. We play to our standard. Don't worry about who the opponent is. Now, I know the Colts have not had the best season, but they got some decent players. Now, Matt Ryan, look, man, not having the best of season, 2,642 yards and been benched for a couple of games, 11 touchdowns, 11 interceptions. Yep. Jonathan Taylor, 742 yards and 6 touchdowns, 739 yards and 4 touchdowns. I'm right, been hurt off and on. Couple of nice receivers. Michael Pittman, 74 catches, 739 and 2 touchdowns. Hey, they put their leg pants on one leg at a time like we do. They professionals just like us, all right? On defense, a Karake is a bad boy. Number 53, I think his name Christian Karake. It's a bad dude, man. Watch out for that guy. He's a tackling machine. And then they got a guy in the secondary named Stephon Gilmore, one of the best corners in the game. Now I know they're not a great team, but their secondary is good because they got a efficiency rate of like 74 of 40% for wide receivers. So they cover wide receivers well. Now they give up a gank of yards on tight end. So I look for Dalton Schultz, I look for Peyton Hendershot and Jake Ferguson to have great games. Okay. And I look for Dak to throw to those guys and throw to Tony Pollard out of the backfield. And I look for Zeke and Pollard to have nice games. I look for Dak to throw for about 275 yards, 2 touchdowns. Pollard to have about 45 yards receiving, about 65 yards rushing. And Zeke to have about 50, 55 yards rushing. And if you see on my thing, I got the Cowboys winning 31-10. Dak will throw for 2 touchdowns. Zeke going to run for 1. Pollard going to run for 1. And Fred Maher going to kick a field goal. He's going to make this field goal. Okay. And we're going to win 31-10. So that's my prediction. So I'm hoping and praying that we go and take care of our business, play to the standard. Don't play the scoreboard. Don't play the opponent. Play our standard. And we'll see what happens. So that's what I got. So that's all I got this week. Like I said, I had to put it all into 1 week because I had a tough week this week, but it's going to be good. Cowboys, see if we can do this week. We win this week 31-10 like I've got it predicted. We're going to move to 9-3 and keep track with the Eagles. And they get to meet the Titans this week. Maybe the Titans can do some business for us and help us out so that when we play on Christmas Eve, we can get right back in this thing. So, but anyway, that's all I got from the desk of Uncle Fred. Please like, comment, and subscribe and become a part of the Uncle Fred Sports Experience. Look, a couple of my videos, I got 300 and some odd views. If you view the video, you may as well like it. It's nice. If you're going to view it, go on and like it. It's okay. Because what that does, it moves the algorithms. It lets other Cowboy fans know there's Cowboy content being talked about on this channel. Somebody else might like what Uncle Fred talking about. Don't be selfish. Hit the like button. It's fine. But that's all I got, man. Cowboys 31-10. We catch you guys next week. God bless. We catch y'all on Sunday evening. Hopefully with a Cowboy win, we're going to talk all about it.